They can be playful and affectionate one day, cold and cruel the next. These dramatic shifts often appear the moment they're held accountable or when the consequences of their behavior become too real. The change is so jarring that you start to question your memory of who they really are. You must see this for what it is. Have you ever poured your heart out to someone, told them about your struggles, your heartbreak, your fears, only to be met with a hollow stare or a flat, too perfect response that made your skin crawl? You sit there emotionally exposed, hoping for comfort, only to feel like your pain bounced off a wall. That moment, when someone hears your vulnerability and reacts like they're watching a scene in a movie instead of living it with you, that's a glimpse into what it feels like to be with a person who lacks empathy. And that's the major sign that you're dealing with a psychopath. Psychopaths can observe emotion. They can recognize it, label it, even imitate it with unsettling precision, but they cannot feel it. Not the way healthy humans do. What you're experiencing with them isn't connection, it's performance. It's like watching someone deliver a flawless monologue in a play. Everything is in place, the right words, the right expressions, but something is missing. That intangible human spark, the soul of it. Empathy is the heartbeat of emotional connection. It's what makes us flinch when someone else is hurt, what allows us to sit in silence with a grieving friend and feel their sorrow in our own chest. Psychopaths don't have that capacity. They're emotionally deaf. They see your feelings like someone watching a movie on mute. They can describe what's happening, but it doesn't touch them. And because of that, their responses to suffering can feel bizarrely off. When you're anxious or heartbroken, they may offer advice that sounds logical but feels robotic. Or worse, they might respond with annoyance because your distress is inconvenient to them. They don't process your sadness as something to hold space for. They see it as a disruption to their comfort or control. This emotional vacancy isn't just hard to understand. It's dangerous because psychopaths view people not as individuals with worth and dignity, but as tools. You're useful or you're irrelevant. That's it. This isn't the same as selfishness. Selfish people can still feel guilt. They can still regret causing harm. A psychopath doesn't. To them, your emotions are data, something to study, manipulate, or weaponize later. You'll notice it in subtle, unsettling ways. You're grieving the loss of someone, and they make a joke about it or brush it off. You're telling them about something that shattered you, and they look more bored than moved. These aren't just signs of emotional immaturity. They're windows into a mind that does not operate like yours. You may try harder, thinking if you explain it differently, show more emotion, they'll finally get it. But they won't. They can't. Even their closest relationships suffer from this lack of depth. They can mimic love, sometimes for months or even years. But eventually, the mask slips. They grow irritated by your need for emotional connection. They become cold, distant, and you're left wondering what changed. The truth is, nothing changed. You just ran out of usefulness, or the performance became too exhausting for them to maintain. And when you show vulnerability, true vulnerability, they don't meet it with compassion. They store it like ammunition. That thing you told them during a late-night conversation, the secret you shared when you thought you were safe. It's now in their arsenal. One day, when you're hurting, they'll use it against you, twist it to shame you or break you down. That moment reveals everything you need to know. There's also something deeply disorienting about their emotional volatility. They can be playful and affectionate one day, cold and cruel the next. These dramatic shifts often appear the moment they're held accountable or when the consequences of their behavior become too real. It's not a mood swing, it's a defense mechanism. When faced with the truth of their actions, they either explode, disappear, or transform into someone you barely recognize. The change is so jarring that you start to question your memory of who they really are. The solution is not to fix them. It's to free yourself. Because no matter how much compassion you offer, how many second chances you give, or how tightly you hold on, they will not change. Not because they can't, but because they don't see a problem. You must see this for what it is. Not an unfortunate character flaw, but a way of life that will pull you under if you stay too close. When you're in a relationship with a person who lacks empathy, your imagination will fill in the emotional gaps. You'll want to believe they care. You'll interpret crumbs as love, mistaking cold analysis for concern. Ground yourself in what is, not what you wish it were. If someone repeatedly meets your pain with indifference or self-interest, believe them. Don't chase their potential. See their patterns. What's within your control is your own emotional clarity. Pay attention to how you feel around them, not just during the highs, but when you're low. Do they lean in with warmth, or do they withdraw? Do they use your feelings as a bridge or as leverage? Stop waiting for empathy to show up where it doesn't exist. Protect your emotional truth. Don't try to fix someone who doesn't even see the problem. Have you ever been in a relationship where you felt emotionally alone, even when the other person was physically there? Where you shared your soul and received a lecture or a smirk in return? Did it ever feel like your pain was being studied instead of shared? You're taking back your power. You're becoming someone who can see clearly, act wisely, and protect your peace.